Now, once it starts to, once it dries out a little bit, so I give it about 5 minutes, probably no more than 5 minutes, I'll actually take it off and I will mark it right down the edge with my, this is my veining tool, okay? Because I want it a little decorative. You can do it before, you don't have to let it stiffen up. I just find it easier to get it a little stiffer first because it's hard to work with when it's really, just don't let it dry or you'll crack it when you take it off. Okay, and then put it back on. And it's easier to set it up when it's a little bit stiffer. Okay, so back on its little thing. Make sure it's nice and level there. All right, so we'll let that go. You don't need to see that. Okay, so I got a whole bunch of them that I did. Okay, and then what I did is I took this spray and I sprayed them. So this is my, I'm going to do this over the sink. And you just, okay, so just spray it. Okay, and then let that dry. Oh, the other thing I forgot to tell you, once they started to firm up a little bit, I actually angled the front of this. So you know I had that square edge, great, I already squished them up. So I had that square edge, sorry about that. We all make mistakes. I actually took one edge, that front edge, and angled it like so, and took it off. That's so that, you know, they're all going to meet in the center. It's, if you had a bunch of square pieces meeting in this, they aren't going to fit right. So I forgot I had done that. Glad I had these done up. So I have 6 of these. Now I know a lot of the crowns have 8. The drawings have 6, and the actual ones that go on people's heads have like 8 usually. I don't know if that's symbolic, it might be, but I could only do 6 around my cake, so I did 6. I didn't feel like doing 8. Okay, the other thing that I need to make is I need to make the acanthus leaves. Okay, so let me pull that mold. And we need to make the fleur-de-lis. These are decorative pieces that go on top of the guy, on top of the crown, one on the top of the head and one on the sides. Okay, so what I did is I got my acanthus mold, and again, any kind of decorative mold will work. I just rolled this out a little bit, pushed it in. Now, it's a little sticky on top, so I tend to put a little cornstarch on and then push it in. I want them thin, I don't want them thick. That's why I rolled it a little bit first instead of just putting it in the mold. Then once you've done that, you can actually take your tool, cut off the excess. You can use your spatula to do this. Okay, that will work. Or you can use a palette knife, which I seem to have misplaced somewhere, but your palette knife will do this. Oh, here it is. Okay, or your knife tool. All 3 tools work to do that, so whatever you got handy. And then I just neaten it up a little bit, push it in, neaten it up. Okie dokie, there it is. And then we just, out it comes. Ta-da! And then all I did was lean it, actually leaned it against a very thin paintbrush because I want it to curl up just a little bit. So I just leaned it against a paintbrush. Like that. So I got a little bit of a curl. Okay? All right. So when they're dry, there it is. And again, you can spray it, or you can, I want to show you the other thing you can do too, is you can paint it. So this is the actual airbrush color, and it would be best to airbrush it, but if you don't have an airbrush, I don't, maybe one of these years, I will learn to airbrush, and then you'll get a whole new set of videos from me. Be using it all the time. So let me grab a paintbrush. So what you can do is you can actually paint with an airbrush color. Now, don't need to add anything to it. You just paint with it. See? Pretty. So it works really well. If you get too much on, it'll actually, it'll kind of, you know, it kind of evens itself out. You might end up with some spots that aren't as thoroughly covered as others. That's why airbrush is, you know, airbrushing works best, but if you don't have an airbrush, that works just as well. Okay?